What's up, YouTube? Tonight I'm going to be showing you how to replace your auxiliary water pump for your turbo on an R56 Mini Cooper S. If you haven't already, go ahead and hit that subscribe button and stick around. You're going to want to watch this whole video. No matter which Mini Cooper you own, you're going to want to join my Facebook group, Mini Cooper DIY. It's for anyone who works on their own Mini Cooper, whether you're answering questions or asking them. There's over 2,000 members with over 400 joining every week, and it's growing fast. So yeah, it's called Mini Cooper DIY. I'll leave a link to it in the description, or if you type in Mini Cooper DIY in the search in Facebook, you will find it. Okay, first you're going to want to drain the coolant from the system, and you're going to do it by releasing this clamp right here with this pair of hose clamp pliers like this. I'll link to these in the description where you can get them. But what you're going to do is you're going to squeeze together right here. And then you slide it back like that. Release your pliers. And that's off. If this won't break loose by twisting it, mine just broke loose by twisting it. Use a pick tool and just break the suction, but from here you should be able to just drain it. So here, let me move my camera back a little bit. Just let that drain. Then from the top of the engine bay, go ahead and loosen your cap for your coolant reservoir, just to let it drain easier. Okay, now from the top of the car, go ahead and remove your coolant reservoir. Mine doesn't have a bolt here, but yours should. I believe it's an 8mm, I can't remember. But once you pull that off, pop that forward, pop this up, and just move it out of the way. Okay, so now we need to disconnect the O2 sensor, the plug. It's this right here that I'm pointing at with my magnet. It's that blue plug right next to this orange thing right here. It's this blue plug. You're just gonna press in on it right here and unplug it. Alright, actually instead of disconnecting the wire, I'm just gonna unhook it from the bracket, because I have to unhook it from the bracket anyway. So I'm gonna go ahead and pop this loose with the screwdriver. I'll give you a better idea of what I'm doing in a second here. But there's a little plug that connects the O2 sensor plug to the metal bracket. It's just a little black piece. You have to pop it through somehow with a screwdriver, I'm guessing. Alright, there we go. It's just about out. Can't really get it on film, so I'm going to go ahead and turn it off because you can't see it anyway. Okay, so if you see this black piece right here, that is what I just popped out of this hole right here with the screwdriver. Okay, so now if you look right where I'm shining the light, I don't know if you can see it or not, but there's another plug in there. And it is just like this other plug I'm about to show you on how to remove it. But I'm not going to be able to show you me actually removing it, but I'll show you how to do it. And as I'm looking at this, I can see it is covered in oil from when I had my oil leak on my vacuum pump. So I am actually really glad that I'm changing this right now. It's probably a fire hazard. Okay, I got that plug off I'll show it to you a little bit later once I I can get to it easier. But I'm going to take this reservoir off just to make it easier to get to stuff. To get to these two 8mm bolts. Just pull this hose off the bottom. And then same thing on the side over here. Hold that clamp down as far as you can. I'm going to replace these hoses, so I'm not really worried about hurting them, because I have that's what this box is right here. It's 4 silicone hoses. So watch for that video. That's going to be, I'm actually going to do that video as soon as I'm done with this one. But yeah, just go ahead and pull this hose all the way off like that, and then just put this to the side. Okay, now I'm gonna go ahead and loosen the hot side of the turbo piping. The side with your if you have the silencer, that's where it's at. Mine's deleted. Go ahead and pull that hose off of your turbo. That's just going to give you room to get down into where that bolt is that I'm about to take off. So when your water pump, when it's sitting in your car, it's sitting like this. This is the connector I just took off. See that little hump on the top? You have to press, you can either press down on the connector on this side. What I ended up doing was using a screwdriver and picking up on this side and getting it to slide off. I'll see if I can get a better shot of the actual connector once I get in there. But what I'm about to do now is, see these two holes right here? There's 8mm bolts in each one of them. And I'm going to take this one off first, and I'm going to take this one off. But I think I can do it from the top, and that's what I'm going to try to do right now. So I'm going to do it right now. Okay, so I'm just going to take my Milwaukee with the 8mm on it. I'll leave a link to this in the description too. This makes the jobs, pretty much every job, way easier. Just get that on the wall like that. Can't really see it, but that came right out. That's the bolt I just took out. I used this magnet once I got it all the way out. Before I let it fall, I took it out with this magnet. But now I'm going to do the bolt right next to it. Actually, before I remove that last bolt, I'm going to remove the 2 coolant lines from the pump, because they're probably going to be a lot harder to remove once those bolts are out. So I'm going to do that from, I'm going to do for the first one from the bottom of the car. Okay, so I'm going to try to put these cable pliers, or these hose clamp pliers up on here. See if I can feel it. This plug right here is the one I just took out that I was talking about. But let me get that out of my way. Okay, so with the hose clamp plier on there, I'm just going to try to pull this. You can see it's leaking coolant. Pull it off. Okay, so the next hose I got to pull off is right here. I'm just going to do that with these hose clamp pliers, probably, if they'll reach down there. But I gotta move I can't do it with the camera in the way, so I'm just gonna reach down there and get it. Okay, so I'm just gonna go ahead and take the second one off. with this Milwaukee. It's an 8mm again. And I believe I got it. Use my magnet and try to pull it out. Alright. That's the bolt. Wasn't able to get it with the magnet. I just had to reach down and pull it out. But that's the old water pump. Now I'm gonna go ahead and put the new one in. Okay, to put the new one in, what you're gonna want to do is take the hardest hole to get to, which will be this one back here. Take the screw that the bolt you just took out, and put it in that bolt hole. Like that. That way when you put it down there, you're gonna hand tighten it, because you can't really see anything. You just gotta put it down there. There's one hole. There it is. Then once you have the first one started, go ahead and take the second bolt, put it in the second hole. Once you get those hand tight, go ahead and get them kind of snug. You don't want to torque these down. This thing will torque down to 35 pounds, so I'm not going to use all the torque. I'm just going to get it snug, which is about right there. Then I'll go on to the next one. Then I'll snug those up all the way with the ratchet just so I can feel how tight they actually are. Alright, it seems pretty good. Alright, make sure you snug both up with the ratchet so you feel what they feel like. Like I said, you can't see the back one, so I'm not really going to show you that one. And now I'm going to go ahead and hook the connector back up. Okay, so first, like I said, I was going to show you this plug. This is the plug you're trying to plug in. You're supposed to be able to push down this back part to get it to come up. I wasn't able to do that, so what I did was I took a flathead screwdriver in here, pried that part up, and then slid it out, and it came right off. But the other way, it wasn't coming off at all. Okay. Alright, sure goes on a lot easier than it came off. Alright, then that one, that black plug that I undid with the screwdriver, I'm going to press that in. That goes right in. Okay. So now those two clips, show you what I'm talking about. These two clips where I had the O2 sensor wire, I'm going to go ahead and plug the O2 sensor wire back into those. Actually, I'm gonna wait to do that. I'm gonna go ahead and get the coolant hose back on. In fact, I think I jumped the gun. I'm putting that black plug in. I'm gonna pull that back out. Okay. So I'm gonna go ahead and put that first coolant hose on. The one on the top. And that slides right on. Then use the hose clamp pliers to squeeze the top one. Or use, let me show you. If you don't have hose clamp pliers, these will actually work. But the hose clamp pliers just make it a lot easier. I'm actually not gonna clamp mine down though right now because I'm gonna change my hoses anyway, so I'm just gonna leave that off. Okay, same thing. Take this bottom hose and just plug it onto that bottom one. Use your hose clamp pliers to squeeze that on and put it on all the way. But like I said, I'm not putting mine on all the way because I'm changing my hoses. And then once you've done that, go ahead and take your this thing, the O2 sensor wire, and plug it back in, or hook it back into those clamps. Just slides in like that. Slides. Be a lot easier if I could use. There we go. All right. Okay, now go ahead and plug in this connector. The black plug is right there. Okay, so now go ahead and hook the hot side of your turbo back up. Probably don't need to use the longest screwdriver you can find like I'm using, but that's what I got in my hand, so I'm going to use it. Now this side is under boost, so you don't want to just tighten it with this, or you might have if you have a lot of PSI, like I'm stage 3, so when I boost a lot. So I'm actually going to tighten this with a wrench. I can't remember if it's a 7mm or an 8mm. It's a 7, so I got to find a 7, but I'll do that off camera. Now go ahead and hook up your coolant reservoir. Hook that hose up on the bottom. Just plugs in, and then take your hose clamp pliers and squeeze that clamp to put it back on, and then take your this hose, plug that one in, and again use your pliers and plug that back on in, and then put your 8mm bolt in right there, or nut, I mean. Okay, once you get to this point, go ahead and fill up your coolant and bleed your system. I have a video on how to bleed your coolant system. I'm going to make a video on how to flush your coolant system as soon as I do these hoses. So I'm going to do all 3 of these videos this weekend. That's why I'm doing it in the middle of the night right now. But I'm going to do the hoses and I'm going to do the coolant. But yeah, right now what you want to do is you want to fill it up and bleed it. Follow my video on how to bleed it. And like I said earlier, if you have a Mini Cooper, check out my Facebook group. Mini Cooper DIY, and you know, ask questions if you have them, post questions if you, or post answers if you know the answers to questions. And if you like this video, give it a thumbs up. If you didn't like this video, give it a thumbs down. Go ahead and hit that subscribe button, and I'll catch you in the next video.